Hello, out there somewhere. Thanks for tuning in to the Unfake It Till You Make It podcast. Today, we talk sound, disappointment, and the skateboard analogy to success.
This podcast will talk you through the ups and downs in the entertainment industry.
Each and every one of you has a talent, but it's a tough business. People gonna tell you, get a real job.
By introducing you to sustainable, moldable methods in a crazy, cutthroat world.
Let us harness our willpower and take real action.
Don't let it get you down.
Join me, brothers and sisters, on a journey through trials and tribulations.
Unfake it till you make it.
Okay, it's been a while. I know, but here I am. What happened this last while? Well, I got busted. Yeah, they didn't lock me away, but I put together a nice casting crew for an upcoming film shoot, and we got shut down and kicked out of an LA park because we had no permit. It was not fun. This was a paid gig, and there was a loss because we had to pay our cast and crew partially for that day, and we lost time, which we cannot get time back. But it did push me to go through the hell it takes to get a permit in LA. It was my first time because previously I have always done guerrilla style filmmaking, which means you just don't have a permit. You're not really supposed to be there. You just film and live the life that we are given. I never had a problem before that. Other than that, things have been great. It's been a wonderful thaumaturgical new year, and I'm thankful for all that has come my way, good and not so good. And on with the episode. I have a fun conversation with a dear peer of mine, Cyrus, who is in the film industry just like me, specifically in sound. The sound department is where he belongs, so he better stay there. Just kidding, Cy. I could say that because Cy is a close friend of mine. He is an extremely talented man who can build practically anything with his hands. He's crafted his specialized sound cart out of random metals he came across and impressed the hell out of me. Amazing job. We get into his experiences starting from scratch in the film industry. We talk about the onerous yet fortifying paths he has navigated through, and we also have some tangents. Yeah, we have some fun tangents. And here we go. Please enjoy this episode with Cyrus Wymer.
Welcome to the show, Cyrus.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. I'm having you big time. So, what's going on with you? How's your life?
Life is okay, man. It struggles a little bit here and there, but for the most part, I'm enjoying it.
In the audio world right now, what would you say about the audio world?
It is dead.
No, wait, dead for you or dead?
For me.
Okay. So you're having a little consistency troubles. You were saying.
Inconsistency for sure. I know about a year ago, or actually 2 years ago, it was really good. I was working all the time, almost to where it was like I didn't have any days off. I was turning down work and stuff. And now it's just I can't even seem to find work.
How does that happen? Is it do you think that it's the contacts you had, they just somehow stopped bringing in new productions, or did you do something on set?
I think it's a little bit of both, actually. I was working for a company for about a year and a half, actually a little over a year, with a company called Vet TV. And Vet TV, basically, I was working with them pretty consistent, and they would shoot like production like once a month or whatever. They'd shoot for like 2 weeks, and then it went to like every month and a half, and then it went to 2 weeks or whatever. So like it kept me fed, just enough to where like it was like, okay, money's there, money's coming in. I didn't really have to look for other work, but then I was always getting other work as well, like in between, so I was continually working. what ended up happening towards the end of my relationship with Vet TV, one of the producers was a new producer that came on, and I was having trouble with the growth that she was growing within the company, and it wasn't like a hater thing. It was more like, hey, like these are the things that I need, but then she was like falling short on her end, and it was like making my job a lot more difficult. So I spoke out, and so I pulled her to the side. I told her, hey, like we talked about this, because like even before production started, I like pulled her to the side. Like we had lunch, whatever.
What was the issue? Can you tell me about on your end? What were you trying to get?
On my end, it was like production is like, I look at production as like an assembly line. The people that like crew is called in before the cast, right? So when actors show up to set, right, they go to like hair and makeup, they go to wardrobe, and then they come, to they either have their time with the director, and then after the director, then they come to me, to the sound department, and then I do my thing, and then basically, they go on to set and we do whatever content there is that needs to be done, right? Mm-hmm. Well, with her, they basically were completely bypassing me completely. They weren't giving me the time of day to let me do my job, and then I would speak out, and then they would be like, "Oh, well, you need to hurry up," and it was literally I would only have a minute with each talent, and with that company, they would have anywhere from 6 to 12 people to mic up,
so they kind of overlooked the sound. They started to overlook the sound.
Which is like, come on, really? You guys
sound and camera. That's what we have.
Yeah. You guys are this production company, that's producing content, you're supposed to be professional. And yet you guys are overlooking all of this, you're overlooking especially my department. That's not, and there's no ego, there's no nothing, I'm just trying to do my job, trying to do the best I can to get them quality audio, but they're not letting me take basic steps to do that. It's everything is rushed. And on my part, I do have to say I became very, very good at my job because of the time pressure that was forced upon me. But it also left a bad taste, and towards the end, I guess it kind of came out wrong or whatever with the production company, because I really voiced my opinion and they didn't like it for whatever reason. But I had been with this production company since they actually started. So, to me, it was a little if you don't voice things and you just let things go, how are they going to know? So I felt the steps that I took were a good thing for them. So they knew, but at the same time, they didn't like it. And, they didn't see that as a good way to approach or whatever, but I see it as growing pains. You know what I mean? You overcome these obstacles and you become better at your job, your team. You work better with other people because now they know where you're coming from. I'm not going to mention any names, but the one of the producers of that of Vet TV. LLC. She's new to the industry, and by her kind of casting me out of Vet TV, kind of left a bad thing on me. I felt a a lot of the work, maybe, and because the talent pool is very small, like within, LA, and everything kind of works together. So like even the talent pool and stuff, right? If they hear of like, oh, that guy Cyrus, he got fired from Vet TV. If Vet TV tells them like they fired me, the people that are a part of Vet TV, that go in with Vet TV, they would probably look down on me
instead of like offering you other gigs if they have something for you. Like, hey, I can't make it. Like, I know you, Cy. Why don't you fill in?
Yeah.
So how'd you handle this?
So I actually emailed. I emailed the founder of Vet TV and the shareholders of Vet TV, because I knew them pretty well, and I felt like we were friends, like, because there wasn't just the work part. There was like, when you're on set with somebody, 12 hours a day, for a year and a half, like, along the whole process, you grow like these friendships. You grow close with the people that you work with on a daily basis, and so I ended up emailing them and asking them, like the reason why they did, the reason why they didn't want to work with me, and all that, and they never emailed me back. They basically just cut complete ties. And the way that I even found out was through a friend of mine, Turner, that actually, he worked for Vet TV. He was part of their full-time staff. He had lunch with me, and I was supposed to shoot a documentary with them. They basically, like, he told me, it was like, hey, Vet TV doesn't want me to work with you. And this, let me mind you, this was like 2 days before the documentary was even supposed to be shot. We were supposed to,
and
like...
you already on board?
Yeah, I was already on board. And, it was a verbal agreement. I didn't have a contract. But, working hand in hand with them through all of their productions for that year and a half, you don't really think like, oh, you got to have a contract and lock yourself in, right? Like, if you're working with somebody for a year and a half, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's
like, true. So you should have a contract no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what.
And just say it as a formality. I'm definitely guilty of not always implementing a contract. Mm-hmm. Like, I have two shoots coming up, but and they're past clients, and I haven't even sent them an SOW or anything.
Because there's that trust there, right? Which
you think, they're gonna respect that trust I have with them without a contract, but at the same time, if you say it's just a formality, they might respect you equally, I would think. Right. Unless they're idiots.
So, exactly.
Can you talk about your timeline into the industry, like quick certain points that turning points and also struggle points, and like how you got like into it, how you got gear, how you figured out things?
Okay. So how I actually got into it was by you, Mr. Tony.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I was like a part of the industry, like I was in the industry.
You were interested in the industry anyway, and you were like doing some schooling.
Yeah. So I was going to like this school up in North Hollywood for the film stuff, right? And then I had like a few little gigs here and there, and then I thought, like I was trying to get into it, but then at the same time, like I had another job, I had a full-time job that I was working, and I was trying to make that transition, but things weren't happening, and then I remember you like had reached out to me quite a few times, and you're like, hey, like I'm doing this spec commercial, like, hey, do you want to help out with audio? I was like, I don't know, possibly, maybe we'll see, so over time, like, and then you hit me up again, and I was like, all right, sure, like I'll do it. And then, so I did. What did I do?
What was the first one what did we do that you worked on the first one? I know there was Bird's Eye.
There was Bird's Eye,
which I could put in the link. It's really funny. I'm a blue bird. I was acting and directing.
Yeah,
and you did
and
the
then
sound.
There was the Head and Shoulders
Head and
one.
Shoulders one,
Yeah.
which that I've talked about before on this podcast, where they were supposed to pay us, but
Yeah,
they paid
and
the
then
middle
it
ground
was
company,
like
and then
Pop
they went
Tent, right?
Yeah, they
Pop
Pop
Tent or
Tent.
something? Yeah.
They went out of business and went bankrupt and left all like $300,000 worth of filmmakers
debt.
Yeah, in
like,
debt.
they basically bankrupted and they didn't pay anybody.
Yeah.
That was
It
shitty.
was terrible.
That was
And
shitty.
our commercial was aired in Asia all over with the Head and Shoulders, and it was a great turnout. One of the best commercials at that time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
none of us got paid.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was actually my intro, like my first big intro, like within the audio community. Well, I shouldn't say audio community. I should say with my network of people. And it was like my first like really good experience because you as director, like producing content creator and all that, you kind of made everything easy, and you kind of like talked through the process because it was like my real like first type gig that I had. So thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Those were some fun times.
And I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. And we shot the Head and Shoulders we shot like over there in like Santa Monica in the park.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a really beautiful day, and I don't know. Anyway,
Funny
it was good.
story about that. If you remember, we were shooting with no permit in the park,
Guerrilla style.
Yeah, and for filmmakers out there, this is what happened, and there's some good thoughts here, how to get out of a situation. I think, but an officer came over and they asked us. I don't know if you remember.
I remember.
They said like, "Are you guys filming here with a permit? What are you doing here?" And I told everyone before we shot. I said, "Don't know." I said, "Do not say we're student filmmakers, because they'll still ask for a permit and they could still kick you out." I said, "Tell everyone we're just testing out equipment. We want to get in the industry, but we don't know what we're doing." So the officer came over, and luckily we put away the products at that time. We finished like our slider dolly shot with the product in front. And we all were like saying that, yeah, we want to work one day. I mean, if we could.
Yeah.
And she just walked away. It was like, okay. And she left. It was really amazing. And then we just knocked out the rest, and we hightailed it out of there.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool. Like, I'm glad you didn't get fined. I'm
Yeah,
glad
they will. I mean,
nobody
it's sad.
They
LA,
didn't take your equipment.
They
or
don't want you
anything.
to film in LA without
Yeah.
paying up the ass.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So from there, how did you get a gig that was paying? What'd you do? How did you do that?
So after that, fast forward, like, I guess you could say, I don't know. We'll just say fast forward to whenever. But then I started getting work as a boom op, and I started boom opping for these concept feature short films.
Was it? Did you find an ad, or did you meet someone that?
No,
hired you
I met people through various, like through Facebook groups and stuff
Facebook
like
groups.
that. Yeah, Facebook groups is a great, like, it's a great way to like network and meet other mixers and like period sound in like the sound industry people. It's
Really?
like a great way to meet them and like reach out.
Any special Facebook group that you, out of all of the ones you've tried out, that you think are ones that you have to, if you're interested in sound or something?
Yeah, if you're interested in sound, I would like LA Mixers. They have like various. There's like over in Atlanta, they have Atlanta Mixers, and whatever city you're in, I'm majority of the bigger cities though. Especially the places that have like tax incentives, because like nobody wants to work and get taxed, right?
Yeah.
Like a bunch. So, just go on your Facebook, go into groups, and then search like mixers or sound mixers or like boom ops or like freelance mixers or whatever, and you can network with some of the people there, and like whatever posts that are on there, just comment on them, get people to know you, and then you'll start having conversations and you'll have like an invite to the group, and then they'll have like certain days where they have like these group get-togethers and stuff. I know a lot of the rental houses and like the sales places. True Audio has been really good to me. So True Audio has they have these get-togethers where these companies will come and they'll they'll show off their new products and stuff like that, like their mixers or microphones or cable wires or the apps or whatever it may be, involved with the audio industry, they'll have there. And it's been a good way to network with other people and also try out gear for free. So you can literally, you can not necessarily just there, but I have personally reached out to some of the contacts that I met at those event type things, and they've sent me microphones that I was able to try out.
Really?
Yeah,
that's great.
for a few weeks and stuff. So that's really cool. So big shout out to those people, and.
Can I interrupt?
Sure.
Because I just thought of this. So for someone a little more like me, where I've been reluctant over the years to go and meet up with other filmmakers for some reason, any advice for people to get over that little, whatever that is? Because I think before I had a little more of a inkling to think, there's going to be a lot of fakes and people, and I don't want to sort through all these people to find someone.
Yeah.
But I know that it's important to do that and go to these things. So, what advice for people that are reluctant do you have?
I would say most definitely get out there and do it. Don't even think about it; just do it. And the reason why is because out of 100 fake people, there's going to be that one real person.
That can change your life.
Yeah, that can give you a consistency of work, whether or not be every day, but it would be, every few months or whatever. And that could grow your business or whatever aspect of your life that you're looking for. It can definitely help you out.
Yeah, because they're not going to find you when you're in your house.
Yeah.
Wishing.
You got to be out there. You got to be a go-getter and definitely get out there and do it.
I think I've psyched myself out so many times over the years, meeting up, and
it's almost is in a sense, dude, it's dealing with all the fake people is such a drainer, and you don't really, it's oh man, I just don't feel like talking to people that say that they're going to do something and then just don't ever do it, But at the same time, there's that person that will,
so you can't let it phase you.
Yeah.
Which is a practice.
Yeah.
Not let it phase you.
And let me tell you this, to go into it.
A lot of dogs here.
Yeah,
guys.
there's a lot of dogs.
We're in a place that actually at night you will hear so many coyotes, it sounds like this horror film up here, and I wish I could figure out where they really are coming from, because there's got to be 30
from all over, dude.
Yeah, but there's got to be 30 a pack.
You know what, we're sitting out here in Tony's cabana, whatever. I thought it was a nice day to sit out here and have this podcast thing. It feels like you're a part of nature out here. So that's really cool.
Thanks.
So what were we talking about?
We were talking about clowns and peanut butter.
No. Were we? Okay. So PB&J. PB&J.
Oh, man.
No, I'm not going to get on that subject.
I actually do love those every now and then.
Yeah.
But it has to be organic almond butter and no crap in the jam.
Yeah,
for me.
I like boysenberry, on my pancakes. I know that's completely different.
Okay, I haven't had pancakes in a while.
Yeah,
I feel like on a Sunday I should do that.
Boysenberry and slices of banana. That's pretty good. And if you really want to go overboard, throw some peanut butter on it as well.
Holy shiz.
Yeah, super good. I highly recommend it.
Okay, so that you just said some creative ideas for food. Let's just jump right into some other of your talents, because you are a really creative handyman that can.
Yeah.
That before, sometimes you would help, even though you were doing sound on set when we have small stuff.
Yeah.
You would set down the sound and help gaff, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
set up some kind of instrument that helped the lighting or something.
Yeah.
And stuff that I wouldn't think of, and I love that about you. So how are you involved with mechanics, welding? Where did that come from, and why do you love it?
I was raised in Ashland, Oregon, and I'm just going to give you kind of a little brief overview and whatnot. I was raised in Ashland, Oregon, which for those that don't know, it's a very, very small town in southern Oregon. It's pretty much on the borderline of NorCal and southern Oregon. Ashland is a huge Shakespeare theatrical place. They have every year they have these big gatherings for Shakespeare's. They have Shakespeare festivals and stuff. So in the mix of that, that's kind of, I've always had the artistry side because of that as a kid. And then I used to ride my dirt bike everywhere. And me growing up in, the 90s, I was born in 83, I'm 35 now, so I'm getting older. But growing up in the 90s, most of my childhood years riding my dirt bike on the streets of Oregon and going through orchards and stuff like that, right? My dirt bike would, like anything else, would break down, and you'd have to learn how to work on it. You know what I mean? My stepdad is a mechanical engineer. He got his degree from Penn State University, which is a highly, probably one of the best engineering programs, colleges in the United States. And I remember he kept a lot of his books on the shelf, and I remember going through his books and stuff like that, like wiring diagrams and how certain things work, mechanically. And when I was 13, I was looking through them, and I was kind of fascinated of wiring diagrams and not only that, but I was really specifically interested in rotating, moving parts and how things how things would click on through through circuitry, and so I had this basic knowledge as a kid just by looking at that and reading some of this stuff, so everything that I've obtained. My stepdad was a businessman. He didn't really get his hands dirty at work. He worked for the VA hospitals, and he was he overlooked at what the hell? I forgot what it's called, whatever. But there was a certain department within the VA hospital that he oversaw and stuff. And so myself, I had to learn how to wrench on stuff, right? But I actually got most of that information, not necessarily through the books, but the know-how through those books, And then the other half was me actually physically doing it. So it was partial knowledge and then hands-on training with myself. And I remember my mom, she told me, she was every 2 weeks we'd have to buy you a new watch because you were taking them apart, and I was trying to figure out,
the inner workings.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
And I remember I told my mom, I said, one day I'm going to have my own watch company. I'm going to have my own custom watch. But I was I was a kid, and I just never followed that, I kind of lost track of that and gained interests in different areas.
So taking things apart, reading some books, and having someone to look up to that's in that field.
Yeah.
That's a good combination.
And, my stepdad, he was an engineer. And then my real father, when I moved here to California at like 14, my real father was a heavy duty mechanic, he worked on big machinery, for the operating engineers. And so like earth movers, these big excavators and all this stuff, right? He was a mechanic, and my grandpa Lefty from my mom's side was also part of the, he was also a mechanic as well. He was in the union, Local 12. So, in a sense, it kind of, it runs in my DNA, like if you think about it, I'm like, what is that, third generation? You know what I mean? Like, so my grandpa, my dad, me, so,
interesting.
Yeah. So like, audio stuff was like, that was self-taught, but I was like I kind of went towards that way, and I learned everything myself. Am I a good audio person? Yeah. So everything's technical. So like, I don't know if I could tell you the science, but I know like certain situations, what sounds better, what doesn't, you know what I mean? It's like a basic concept.
Now, this is a question, and it's relative because there's a lot of technicalities in it, but it's not taking things apart like physically, but mentally. You were almost, or you were semi-pro skateboarder, right?
Yeah.
So I want to talk
There's
about
a lot
that.
of foot coordination.
Yeah, and mental.
And,
you're taking things
body.
apart mentally too,
Yeah.
because you have to figure out what's going to happen with skateboarding. And well, I'm a skater too, and,
right.
and I did it so much too.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is, I mean, you got really, really skilled. So, what I love doing is asking people how they stuck with something to get that level of skill, and how did they not just, oh, I like it, it's kind of fun, and then they just give it up, because so many people do that. So, how did that happen? Talk a little bit about that. And I don't know if you ever stopped and thought, like, why did I get that far? And if you can think about it, like, let us know about some of your thoughts or mentality or what it did for you.
So skateboarding was, I think that skateboarding was basically like, I kind of did it a little bit when I lived in Oregon. Just my grandmother got me a skateboard. She lived here in California, and it was like a California thing, skateboarding, whatever. So like, I kind of learned my balancing just from that. But then when I moved here to California, it was like I took it to a whole nother level, because my real father worked all the time, and I was kind of bored. So like, I picked up like this hobby that ended up turning into a passion, and every second that I had free, I literally would go skateboard, and I stuck with it because it was, it just kept me busy. You know what I mean? There was no downtime. It was just like, and I always, like with the friends that I had, we were always trying to outdo each other, so it was like this competition without it being a competition, I just remember and my style of skateboarding was more street. It was not into like vert and all that stuff before, Tony Hawk, and like, he was like, I remember that there were like Eric Costin. I don't know if you remember him, like Rodney Mullen.
Yeah.
Like, these are some of the top. And these were people in my era, like when I was like getting into like skateboarding that I kind of looked up to. I didn't really know them when I first started, but like I started like watching a lot of this skateboarding, and like I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like this is how they would do it. And then I would buy like, I'm trying to think of the videos. The heck,
The End,
like Thrasher, Thrasher. I think Thrasher would put out some videos, maybe.
Oh yeah, for sure. What about Tony Hawk's The End?
The End. I wasn't really into vert stuff.
No, it's a mix. It's a lot of it's street.
Oh really?
It's just he's part of it.
Oh okay.
We got to watch it. Heath Kirchhark and Jeremy Klein.
Okay.
Oh my god, we got to watch that together. I'll put it in the show notes for you guys that like cool music mixed with skating. That's amazing.
So I would also buy like Transworld. Do you remember Transworld magazines? Oh my goodness. I used to get those magazines, and I would like save up my lunch money.
Excitement.
Yeah, I would save up my lunch money just to buy like those magazines, right? And so like I would like study like picture by picture on how they would do certain tricks, and I would just emulate, those tricks. And I would sit there in my room on my carpet with my skateboard, like, and do those tricks. And then when I felt like I would get it right, I would go outside and I would do those tricks and slowly go faster and faster and faster and do those tricks.
Now, what about falling? I know we're guys, so you fall, you can get up, but skateboarding falls are really tough.
Oh yeah, so, but it's that drive that kind of gets you over that. You don't even think about like hurting yourself.
Yeah.
It's like
because the reward is so
worth
it.
It's like, oh, how cool is that? You're taking this solid piece of rolling board, right? And you're literally like defying gravity, right? And you're making that board do a trick
that you control,
that you're controlling, and you're landing on it and you're rolling out of it or whatever, So with that type of drive, and then not only that, but like, I don't know about you, I didn't really do it for the girls, right? But let's be real. Like back in middle school, high school, right? Like the hottest girls were skater chicks, right? They weren't skater chicks. They were like kind of groupies.
They would like hold a skateboard and walk around. They'd be impressed. And
I mean, there were a few girls that I know that would try, but they would just like get on it and push it. They weren't. I don't know, but they were cute.
Well, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to show your hard work to the world, and there's nothing wrong with it if you stay grounded. And
then I started getting into some more competition type stuff for free. Like I basically would go, and then I would have like this girl Trisha. No, Teresa. What was her name? I think it was Teresa or something. It was like a friend's, my close friend's sister or whatever. So like I felt like I couldn't let my dad know and shit. So like I had to keep it like kind of distance to where like he would never find out, right? And like so basically to sign up for these competitions you would have to have like, your legal guardian or like your parent or whatever, right? So like my dad wouldn't want to take his time out to like take me to these places because he was off in his own shit. I was a street kid, dude, like straight up. When I moved to California, I was just straight street, So like this girl Teresa, I would have her like go with me to these competitions and stuff, and I would have her sign me in as like a guardian or whatever. and I would compete, and like I would take, certain places. Like when I first started, I actually didn't do too bad, and then I started getting a little bit of recognition out in the Inland Empire. And so like for a while, like I remember I was kind of doing it, like I think I would do it like once or twice every month. They would have like certain competitions, like through these different cities at like these new skate parks that they were just being built, right? And like a lot of the sponsorships would be like the surrounding skate shops. They would like put on these whatever. And then so I started like having like friends and stuff, like video, like I put together like this little demo, and like I sent it to a couple of places, whatever, and it wasn't even edited. It was like just like straight video, because we didn't know how to edit,
Yeah.
So but then there was a skate shop, the skate shop called BBS that they took a liking of me, and they couldn't fully sponsor me because I wasn't of age.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I wasn't 18, so they like partially sponsored me. So they would actually give me like a free board every month, and then like trucks every 3 months or something, and then I would get like a percentage. Like of course they would give me like a shirt and stuff. That's like cool. That with their stuff. So like I was kind of sponsored with them for, I don't know, 7-8 months, something like that, almost a year. And then there was no contract or anything. And I was like 17 at the time, and I just I stopped skating because I got a car, and like I was driving. And you would think like, oh, well, if you have a car, you go skate these other schools and stuff like that. I did. Don't get me wrong, I did. I skated San Gregorio High in San Bernardino. Our school is pretty dope to skate, for sure. I skated Bloomington Middle School, which was, I think it was like an 11 stair that I don't know. I think I may have kickflipped. No, I went to Smith Elementary, and I kickflipped a 6 stair, but it was a really long, really long stair. Nice. And then I hard flipped a 4 stair. But a lot of it, I did drive around to like these other schools and stuff, and I did skate them. But I like, the older you get, like you start realizing even at that age, like I was like, damn, I'm getting all banged up, and like, and then like girls, like I started dating more serious, and like they started taking up my time more. And so anyway, but yeah, so like I finally kind of realized, I was getting banged up more and more, and like my right knee, like I hyperextended my right knee. I twisted my ankles so many times. I broke my right leg.
From skateboarding?
Not from skateboarding, from another incident, but whether or not it's still, you know what I mean? Like skating and doing that type of stuff.
You start realizing your mortality.
Yeah. And then I remember I kept banging my shin too. And like there for a long time, like I had like this big pus bubble on my shin. Yeah, dude. And it's basically what it is like what do they call that?
Shin splints?
No. Yeah, well, yeah, it's basically what it was. Bone chipping, right? And like you keep bruising it, you bruise the bone and stuff, right? And it creates like this sty, or is it a sty? It's not a sty. It's what is it? Those underskin pus, like infections.
A cyst?
Yeah, a cyst. Oh. Yeah, it was like a cyst, and it didn't go away. Like it stayed there for like months and months, and like and every time I touched it, it hurt. It hurt like really bad. So,
Wow.
I was like, damn, dude. So like, I just, I stopped skating because I kept getting hurt and all that. And, I kept pushing myself to the limit and trying to go bigger and bigger. And,
There's a threshold after a while, unfortunately.
Yeah. And like, as a kid, you don't really know, you don't know your limitations because you just keep pushing yourself harder and harder and harder, because you think, you think highly of yourself. You think like you can do it, and, this, if you're kick flipping, a 6 foot gap, right? Just saying, like you're kick flipping a 6 foot gap, right? And you do that and you're like, oh, you know what? I think I could do 10 foot, You
just go for it.
And you go for it, right? And you come up short, and you fall and you're like, oh man, I think I could do it this time, and you keep pushing yourself, right? And you just don't, by the 5th time, 6th time, after you injure yourself pretty good, you're like, okay,
you have to realize that's
I'm gonna heal,
stretch.
but then I'm gonna come back to it. Like that's the type of mentality like
it takes
that
to get
athletes
better.
have. Athletes have that mentality.
That's why I love the analogy that can relate to just our other endeavors in our life.
Yeah.
So you can. That's I lose time when I skateboard, and I love that part of it, skateboarding. But I also love what you were just saying, and whenever I'm trying to get something finished, and I get so far, but then I fall or I like temporarily, I don't want to say give up, but like I need to repair.
Yeah.
I try to remember that, like, well, we'll just go back and then push harder.
Yeah.
Now after you repair, push harder, and you'll succeed. I mean, sometimes you won't, but then if you're not succeeding in that area, you can just shift over here and try the other area because there's so many.
Right.
It's kind of unlimited, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely right, man.
So back.
But I think any part of life, I think people, most people try to do their best, right?
It's you have to think. You have to say that, right? You have to say, he's doing the best he can, because if he could do better, he wouldn't be in that situation.
Yeah.
But then there's the other side of the coin where it's like, why can't you walk over here and say that? That's doing better, and it doesn't take that much effort. So I think I don't know. It's hard to say. Is everyone really doing the best they can? But then if they could, wouldn't they do the walk?
Right. I
don't know. It's a good
I
mentality
guess
to think.
there's like people have to have like a certain self motivation,
and to gain that, it's not instant. It's either someone inspires it for yourself.
Right.
It's never yourself.
Right.
If you're by yourself and no one was surrounding you, you would never have self motivation.
I don't know.
No, I mean imagine if you didn't grow up with anyone and you were in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Like your self motivation would just be survival.
Right.
It wouldn't be anything but that, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, because like even me, like
you grew up in the woods.
I grew not necessarily the woods, but it was very, everything was pretty distant,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, our neighbors were like a half a mile away, you know what I mean? Or like a quarter mile away and shit, right? So
yeah, you went out there and tried to do stuff.
I always, yeah, and I think what it was is that having the freedom to do things and knowing that you have the freedom to do whatever you want, that's more than enough self
It's like
motivation
having options.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know they have options.
Yeah.
That's why people will stay in relationships and it'll be hell until they literally can't stand it, and then they leave. But if they know they have options, like they might be freer, and maybe they'll make better decisions.
I think maybe I think it's instilled in people like when they're kids, I think that's a big thing, because my mom was always like, what, she would always say, well, why don't you guys go outside and play, And shit,
she threw out the options.
I took that to full advantage, dude, because after school and stuff, like I would go out and
play till dark.
Dude, I would be even sometimes till after dark. I'd come home. Yeah, I was
Me
bad,
too.
dude. I used to sneak out. I used to sneak out and go to go down to like Medford and stuff like that at night and shit. Like I was kind of a bad kid, but at the same time, I
You were
was
doing
very
something.
I was still responsible too, though. Like it wasn't like I was like causing havoc or anything like that. I was just, I had that type of freedom where there was, my parents trust me, although they didn't trust other people, right? But I would still break their trust by trying to get them to trust me more. I don't know. It was
Wait, can I trust you? Kind of confused now.
Yeah.
No. But I see. Yeah, I know. I miss staying out after dark. Nowadays, I don't go out. No, I go out. But sometimes the day gets by, and I get a little disappointed because, well, now this last month it's the time's shortened, or the sun shortened. So I feel like I'm working on something, and then I'm trying to get out of the house by 3. And then becomes 4, and after 4, nope, sun's down almost, and I feel trapped.
Yeah.
So.
For me, like, I've kind of taken like even my time, like I haven't been working that much within the film industry, right?
This last month or 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been like 3 or 4 months.
That it's been slower?
It's been slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so what are you doing?
I don't know if it's I'm doing what I can to survive, like mostly everybody in LA, if they don't have anything solid, right? You do what you can to make money to get by and live, to create, this passion so you can get back to doing what your real passion is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there comes a time when you got to tell yourself, like, enough is enough. Do I move on? What do I do? So I've gathered, I've thought about it. I've been doing like these odd jobs that I would in a million years I would never do. Like I started doing Postmates.
Okay, like
Postmates.
in betweens.
I feel like such a failure, man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well,
but you know what, man?
But if it gets you to be able to go back to getting more consistent gigs, so you don't give up on it, then it's okay.
So, I've really thought about, like, I got to get it like a day job to continue to
support things.
Well, to fulfill my passion.
So you're not so scarce about trying to get something that you hate your passion. It doesn't get you any results. No,
but at the same time, like, I mean, so I've been looking into other alternatives as far as like trying to find work and stuff. I know that they have like what is it? Production Hub.
That's one that I saw at the expo for the Cine Gear.
Oh,
they're legit. Apparently.
Are they?
But they have a paid service, and they don't. I mean, they were at Cine Gear at the booth. I mean, I hate to say it, but that sold me.
Yeah.
And they were nice people. They told me that I talked to them.
Okay.
But
what about there's another one, not Production Hub, but Smart Shoot.
Okay. I don't want to say anything good about them, but maybe they changed, but their rates are so low, it's insulting.
Yeah.
And I got one gig off there a long time ago, and it was, I had a good experience, but the rate was so low, I felt
you felt like
degrading.
You got taken advantage of.
Yeah, and I did. But that's what sometimes you do in the beginning, but just don't do it too much.
And what about, there's another one, Mandy.
Okay, I've never got a gig off there, but I've heard good things.
I've heard a lot of good things.
Staff Me Up, I've heard good things. I've never got a gig.
Yeah.
Now, an audio guy once told me he started off Staff Me Up, and he did really good. He always did say, though, it was easier for him to get gigs than the camera guys. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know exactly why that is. But Staff Me Up, I paid, I tried, I never got any interest.
So he was using Staff Me Up
That's how he
as
got
an audio, like,
to
and he
get
was
into the
audio?
reality world, like, or
Really?
something. And that was some years ago.
Yeah. Well, now, I mean, reality is just taking over. Like
That's a problem for people
some of the
like
older
me, 'cause
mixers.
I do not want to be too involved in it.
Yeah.
I really don't. And I was working as a PA some years ago in this reality TV show. I was on with them for 2 months for MTV, and like I really could have pushed to go to the next job. And
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I could have been more getting into being a DP, director of photography, with them eventually.
Yeah.
But I talked to one of the DPs. They're a nice guy,
Uh-huh.
Peter, I think, and he was saying, like, I mean, I'm thankful. I have a lot of work. I have so much work. I'm turning down work. I'm making good money as a DP, but I feel like all these dreams and projects I had and I wanted to do, I never have time for them. I haven't done them in so long, and it's kind of a shame. Except I'm getting good money. I'm able to do this and that. So
Yeah.
it's the balance, and it's hard
Yeah.
to find it when you're getting money and it's in your industry, in your passion. It's hard to balance. That's all.
So, I know, Mandy, I was thinking about signing up with that. I signed up with IMDb Pro. Have you heard anything about that? Like,
About finding work
about
and
finding
networking
work,
and
yeah.
stuff.
I know, like, I read into their website and stuff, and they've got,
They
like,
promote it. They say,
contacts.
"Oh, we
They've
have
got-
contacts and networks."
Yeah.
Now, I'm signed up with them, but I have not yet tried to use their resources. Excuse these beautiful screaming animals.
Yeah.
But I think that's worth a shot, and I think it's good of you to, when things are slow, to provide yourself with some odd jobs, but also continue to like hit these new things up. Like, try IMDb out and see what happens.
Dude,
continue with these other ones.
I've even been like, look, check this out, dude. Like, I mean, I have some credibility. Like, I literally just recently started paying for IMDb. I signed up for their yearly subscription. I paid like $140 or whatever for the year.
Yeah.
Right. I have credibility. Like, even before IMDb, like, if you were to, like, even search like my name, like, there's like a IMDb that pops up, and like, it doesn't have my picture or anything, but it has like all their credibility, like the credits that I've worked on, right? And I've hit up even on Craigslist. I even gone on Craigslist to try to get these, $150 a day jobs.
Just to stay
just to
happening.
be in the industry that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And guess what? Still no call. Like, they don't
There's
call
so
me.
many people
Like,
trying to
what
do the same
heck?
thing.
Yeah.
But it's not even about, I mean, obviously the talent that you have, it's a given, and that so many people tell me that, like, it's a given. If you're saying that you're in this part of the industry, it's a given you're good at it.
Yeah.
So what it really counts, it's somehow making that connection with people that are, I don't want to say like above you, but like ahead of you in a way, more experience or more things going, and then staying connected with them. And I think you are good at that, and that's why you were on this run. But even that, like you just said earlier, it's dead.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do we do now? When it's dead, what do we do? If you don't have a full-time thing that's creative, meaning let's just call it a 9 to 5, but in the creative world, then it does get dead for 2 months. So you better study finances and how to save your money, but also how to stay consistent, but also how to invest it when you have it.
Right.
Because if you don't, you're going to be dead, and then you're going to have to do what you and I both have done.
Yeah.
Or we do these side jobs because we're like, shit, that came up fast. I thought I was on a run.
Yeah.
And now I'm running food. I'm doing Uber. I mean, I was doing, months before I started with some of these new clients earlier this year, I was like filling in with some Ubering.
Yeah.
And and I know what you mean. You say, "Oh, I feel like a failure. What the hell?" But that's obviously, we can't let that mentality get to us.
No, I take that. Here's the thing.
As fuel.
I take that as fuel.
Yeah,
like,
great. Me too.
Am I a failure? Hell no, I'm not a failure. Because
Exactly.
guess what? I'm even gonna get more crazy with my ideas.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go some other direction that people would never even think about.
Yeah.
This kind of takes me, talking about like being out of work and stuff like that. I went to this LA mixer group meetup thing, and a lot of older generation mixers. I mean, we're talking about people that are very well known in this industry. And even though you gave me like kind of a start in this industry, they actually mentored me into the industry. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit.
Please.
So after my run, after we did our things, right, and then I was looking for more work within the industry, I reached out through Facebook, right, through these mentioned groups and stuff like that, and I reached out to a few mixers, and they basically kind of gave me my right foot, you know, because I stepped in with my left foot, and they gave me my right foot into the industry. And I would boom op for these people, and they would kind of like show me, like, this is how you do this, and this is who you're gonna speak to, you know, and like you need to listen for this and this and this, right? So like, I acquired other aspects of knowledge and things to look out for on set, and I picked up like set lingo and all that stuff actually through boom opping, you know. And I'm very grateful to these older mixers, James Ridgely, Joe Bartone, you know, those guys, you know. James has been in the industry since the 80s. He's got like almost 300 credits or something, you know. And we're talking about big stuff, you know, like huge budgeted features, you know, TV shows, all that stuff. He's one of my main mentors that you know, when he gets work, like mostly, he doesn't do union stuff anymore, but when he gets like other films, like these indie features and these short concepts and stuff like that, I boom op for him.
That's great.
And
how'd you develop that relationship more?
Through messaging. Every time, like, you know, something that would remind me of like a time on set that I had with him, I'd be like, oh, you know, blah blah blah, and I'd, you know, say whatever I had to say.
That's cool.
You know, and he would like respond. So we kind of grew like this. We grew this connection, and not only that, but his previous boom op was actually from Oregon as well. So that kind of helped make a better connection, a strong connection, right?
Hey, find what's similar and connect the dots. Yeah.
And so they really mentored me in that realm. And now, I mean, I have the days to be union, so I submitted, you know, I submitted for the union for Logo 695. You know, all that as a boom op. So like I've been waiting, like I turned that in over 3 months ago, you know, and I've been waiting for like the response and stuff.
So what happens with that? I mean,
I don't
can
know.
you talk to them and say, hey, what's going on? Or
Yeah.
is it guaranteed if you have that many days, or is it their selection?
They make it so basically like contract services. You have to go through contract services, and dealing with that, let me tell you, that's those people, man. They're like, you don't even know, bro. Like half the battle is like, I would have to say like 90% of the battle is going through them, and then once they approve you, you're good.
Wow.
But they want everything in depth. You know, they want all the actual they want the production day, which is fine. It's easy. You know, your production call sheets, right? Just organize those. But then they want a copy of your paycheck stub, right? Your paycheck stubs and stuff, which is fine.
Yeah. So you need to be saving
you
those
go to
things.
your bank, you know, pull your check stubs, right?
Yeah.
But then they want you to they want you to have the production company write a letter on your behalf, whatever company that you worked for, right? They want them, the payroll department, to write a letter on your behalf saying all the dates that you worked for them and all that stuff, right? And then they want like their contact info.
A lot of paperwork.
And it's like, why are you like, why do you make it so difficult? Like, obviously you got paid, you know what I mean, through the paycheck. Like, you have a paycheck stub, right? They could easily Google like the company to make sure that they're legit, right? Yeah. And not only that, but like if they're somewhat of a legit production company, they're gonna do an IMDb, I'm sure, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but like. So like they were saying, because I had I had some of the letters that were emailed to me, and so they didn't actually have like a signature. It just like said, you know, down at the bottom of their name, their contact, their email, all that, right? Had all of that stuff, right? But then I contacted Linda over at 695, and I was like, hey, you know, like it's I sent my paperwork into contract services like a while back. I haven't heard anything. They told me anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. It's been like, geez, like 12 weeks, you know, or whatever, you know. And then she was like, oh, okay, well, let me call over there, right? And I had a hell of a time trying to get a hold of contract services to even try to find out what was going on. I couldn't even get through to them, right? So Linda calls me back literally 5 minutes later, and she was like, oh, so they have a problem with you know, supposedly there's not a signature on one of your letters or whatever. I'm like, what the heck? Like, they could have easily had called me. They have all of my information. Why didn't they do this like, you know, 8 weeks ago?
So it's good of you to reach out, and don't be afraid to reach out when you feel like you should.
So the key is, if you think people are doing their work, they're not doing it.
Yeah, you have to be on top of people and put a little fire.
Like, what is this world what's coming to this world? Like, I don't understand. They're getting paid to do a job, but they don't do their job.
Yeah. Well,
it's
just
I don't know.
Yeah.
To me it's like wow,
negligence.
People need to start doing your job. Whatever classification that you're titled,
have some respect for your job.
And not only that, but like, especially even in my situation, I think of it like this, especially even if it's someone like in my situation, right? Like, look, the union is working with you guys to provide you guys with work, and yet you guys aren't doing it. And guess what? The people that are in the union that are paying their union dues, they're paying your salary.
Yeah.
So do your job. Straight up.
So right now you're gonna be waiting, but following up.
I'm still waiting, you know, and you know, whether or not, like, I feel like, here's the thing. Another subject that I would like to talk about. Yeah. So I have probably walked on to about 5 different sets. Literally, had just walked on. I had seen like production going on, and I would walk up on set. I would talk to the mixer and stuff, right? So in the union, you have like certain classifications specifically on the job duties that you should be doing, right? So if you're a mixer, you mix, right? You audio mix. If you're a boom op, you boom op. If you're a sound utility assist, you're a utility assist, right? So you have 3 different job titles within the union, right? But this is what I found out afterwards. If you're a mixer, you can reclassify as a boom op and a utility assistant. If you're a boom op, you can reclassify to a utility assistant. But if you're a utility assistant, you cannot reclassify to anything. So basically it's like department head can be anything that he wants to be within the audio, the union.
But it's harder to become the department head, of course.
The way that the union is supposed to work is that it's supposed to work where like there's not supposed to be any kind of discrepancy, or like not discrepancy, but like any type of I guess the way that they built it was like for equality, right? Like whether it's gender or job classification, as long as you're a mixer, let me just put that in there, a mixer, right? Doesn't matter if you're male, female, whatever, right? They basically want you, they want it to be where, there's no favoritism or whatever. But there is favoritism because if you go in as a mixer, if you go in as a mixer and you're reclassifying as a boom op or a utility assistant, guess what? You're taking somebody else's job that specifically went into the union as a boom op, right? Or if you decide you want to go in as a utility, you're taking that person's job. So you're basically who ends up getting screwed is the utility. They're not allowing the industry to grow. They're basically saying we're oversaturated and there's not enough work. Well, guess what? There needs to be more creative people out there that are coming up with the work because, now these utility assistants, the people that go in as a utility, they're screwed because, the mixer or the boom ops take, kicking them out of
they're being obsolete a little bit.
Yeah. So how is that supposed to be biased if they're, if they're taking, if the mixers are taking other people's jobs? And I don't see it. I see every so often I see boom ops like taking utility jobs every so often.
When they have, when they're lacking something.
Yeah. But I've been on I've walked on to 5 sets within the last, say like 2 months or whatever. And every set that I walked up on, this is no lie, 100% truth. I walked up on set and they literally have 3 mixers as the full sound crew. 3 mixers. 3 mixers. You have the actual mixer that's doing the job, right? And then you have another mixer that's booming for the job. And 3 of these were commercials, by the way.
Oh.
They were union commercials. So you have not necessarily like I can't go onto the set because I'm not union, but as of yet. But if they had like some indie non-union, they have non-union commercials that now what they're called are brand, like they're branding whatever. They're called brand, There's still commercials, whatever. They just do it at a lower rate.
So 3 mixers on set instead of
classified. Classified.
You mean so you talk to them and you're like, oh, you're really a mixer, but you're just taking this job.
Yes.
Because you're in the union, and if there is a boom job, but you're an actual mixer, then you could be like, oh, I take the boom job.
Yeah. So
and they maybe want you because you're classified as a mixer, so they're like, oh, we're getting a mixer, and so he really knows boom.
Well, it's not that. Oh. It's what it really comes down to is not the production. The producers and all of them. They don't really. The line producer basically hires the people, right? I guess any producer could really hire anyone.
Between the line producer, the PM, the producer, they all gather together.
So basically, usually what happens is one of the producers will hire a mixer, right? And then that mixer takes it upon himself to hire the rest of his crew.
Yeah.
So
he hired other mixers.
Yeah, exactly. So what ends up happening is that the mixer ends up hiring other mixers because they don't work or they haven't worked or whatever in a little while whatever it may be. But that's not fair. It's really not fair. Like, if you think of, why is there a union? For
yeah,
fair
especially
rate,
union. If it's union, that's the problem.
For fair rate, right? But also they have specified classifications, right, that you go in as. Why is it that that a mixer can reclassify as a boom op and a utility? And it does not mean that they have been in that position before, because I know
really, it doesn't mean
that. For me, right? I have bagged and boomed a one-man show, numerous. I could probably say over 80 jobs, bagged and boomed. One-man band, right? And I could have classified as a mixer, but I didn't want to classify as a mixer. And the reason why I didn't want to classify as a mixer is because it's a lot of work for the pay. I mean, you get paid.
Yeah, but it was
decent,
non-union, a lot of those. So if you say you're mixer, then you're getting a lower rate. And
well, you're not. Like,
I mean, whatever rate you were getting,
yeah.
you would, if you say you're a mixer, then it's like, it's letting them know that you can get a mixer for this price. Is that what you're saying?
Wait, what was that? I'm sorry.
Well, you're saying that you were really being a mixer and a boom, but you didn't classify as a mixer because you're not really getting. They're not meeting the mixer rate, so you didn't want to devalue what you're really doing.
Right.
With the title.
But not only that, I do have a lot more experience booming.
Okay.
I know how to run equipment. Yeah. I know how to hook up equipment. I know how to mix. I know how to run fader boards. I know all of that stuff, right? Technical issues. I know how to fix problems. I know what type of sounds make whatever issues, whatever. I know all of that. But the reason why I went in as a boom op was just to boom. I didn't want to deal with, because when you're a mixer, you have like other department heads that you have to deal with. That's more heads that you have to work with, right? And I don't know if you know, but sometimes people are very difficult to deal with, and I feel like because I am more of, I don't want to label this as, I don't want to label this wrong, and I don't want people to take this offensively, but I feel like there are separate like rankings, right? Like you have a mixer, you have a boom op, and then you have a utility, right? Mixer makes the most, but they deal with a lot more people. They have more at stake, which is great. A boom op does his work for a short while. He makes sure that the set is quiet, he makes sure that his boom is on access on whatever dialogue parts there are, whatever camera's looking at, right? And then you have your utility, which utility is like either miking people or laying down mats or whatever.
Cable management.
Yeah, they're basically doing all of this stuff that the mixer needs them to do. And then occasionally they have a second boom. They'll do a second boom, right? Or if it's like if it's content that has a lot of people speaking and they're running 2 or 3 cameras, then utility will be on as a boom op, even though they're utility, right? So, but the reason why I did the reason why I wanted a boom op was because I was always told by other mixers, oh, if you're a boom op, you're gonna have a lot of work. You're gonna be, because there's not that many boom ops, And guess what? After I send in all my paperwork, I find out that there's these other mixers that are reclassifying as boom ops, and these guys are actually working like on, working on like these television shows, these the new media, whatever, digital platform, and all this other stuff, right? And so, come to find out, that's not the case, So, and there's no way to really figure out how to find out, like statistically, because I tried, I talked to people about, the roster list and all that stuff, and they can't even tell me like how many people are on the roster list. They don't pull people off the roster list. Usually people just kind of like meet each other, and then like if they're in the same area of work, they just referral type stuff,
That's it.
And I know me coming from like my father, he's union. Like I always kind of knew that I was going to be a part of a union, like from early on, like because I knew that there was
a reason.
There's like this part of unity, right? That, you work along amongst each other. You guys are in the same whatever type field, and you get fair pay, like pay is good. You get medical, dental, all this, where you can actually survive instead of being like
Scraping.
Yeah.
Scraping.
So, the union, I'm going to get back on the union, but the union has, like this roster, right? This roster that they don't even use. So what's the roster even do to like put your name on a list? But if they're not pulling names off the list, then what good is it? So, how like LA, Hollywood says that they want, like, everybody wants equality, right? And there's a big push for that, right? But there's really not, there really isn't, because structurally, like, it wasn't put together right in the first place. Even though like everything is there, it's just, I think certain people that are in certain positions are manipulated in a certain way to, better themselves, and help them along further with their life. So they're blindsided, by what's actually really going on, and by them doing what they're doing, letting mixers reclassify and stuff, they're really hurting the whole sound department as a unity, because now you have people that went to school for it, that all they want to do, believe me, a lot of people don't want to be a mixer. People would rather, boom op. Myself, I would rather boom op or utility, right? And I can't do that because these mixers are reclassifying and taking those jobs.
Is that the same with a union? Do you know about the camera union? Can they classify as an AC, as an assistant cameraman?
I don't know. I would imagine you probably could, because structurally all the unions work together.
Yeah.
Right?
And then like the camera assistants in the union, like the DP.
They have a certain foundation that it was built off of, right? And I would assume so. I would assume if you had, and it doesn't make sense why somebody would step backwards, right?
Except when you have nothing coming in at your classification. You're like, let me just take a lower paying job still in the same department.
But here's the thing.
Makes sense, but it's sucky kind of.
But here's the thing. When you went in, you should know going in that that's your classification.
Yeah, and then there's going to be times you're going to have to sacrifice and not get pay because you want to stay
because you want to
admirable.
be
you want to stay at that
classification. And the union should support that. They should be like, hey, no, this is your classification. You cannot reclassify. Stay in your lane, right? And I'm sorry, like, if there's any other mixers listening to this, but you guys should really look at it structurally and think about other people's positions and all of that. And I'm not just saying that because I'm not even union yet. So first of all, like I'm free to do whatever I want, but you guys should really look into it and like really question, you know, if you have other mixer friends that are doing that, like you should, you know, speak up on it. You
maybe
know?
Learn how to save that money better, so then when you don't have jobs for little, you don't have to lower yourself and go backwards.
Right. And at the same time hurt other people.
Yeah, from going up.
Yeah.
So I think I agree. So what's your favorite part about the film industry?
My favorite part is after everything is said and done, after all that hard work comes together, even though you may not be in the process of post work, but when it's all done, you know, like the end product.
Just watching it like, and knowing.
Then it's like, wow, I was a part of that, you know, and you have all that, you know, all the things that you experienced while you went through it. And like most of the time, the experiences that you go through it are like complete crap.
Pissing off.
Yeah.
Like, problems.
You get fucking stepping on people's feet, you know, and like people like getting in your way
fixing
and like
your
causing
problems.
Yeah. And like shit breaking.
That's
and, like,
funny. Yeah, I love that part.
I think the end, and not only that, like, you know, I love people and I love meeting people, but let's be real. Like, I mean, honestly, I live my life, people live their life. And if I don't run across your path again, most likely I'll reach out once or twice. But if I don't get a response and you don't give me the time of day, that's it. You know what I mean? And people in LA
you can't take
are
that personal, and you have to just kind of keep moving and talking to new people.
Yeah, like you and I, Tony. I mean, we talk, but we don't talk that much, right? You know, I mean,
yeah. Well, it happens. I mean, we're both trying to get our things going more.
We know we are friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're busy with your life. I'm busy with my life, and you know, and we have these functions where we get together and we go to, you know, set places that were, you know, are, go ahead, you can fill in, like, they're trying to play. You know,
yeah, no, we have gatherings. It's fun.
We have gatherings and stuff.
People are gonna be wondering what are we talking about,
Yeah.
but no, it's good to. I mean, I think with experience and bad experiences, you get good judgment, and we have that good judgment. You find the good people, and they're good people, and they're your friends, whether you talk with them every week or like every couple weeks, every other month
or
like,
whatever.
Get together once or every other month.
Yeah,
and that's good.
Shane was telling me that that you wanted to do another fun activity pretty soon. So
definitely. Oh yes,
whenever
a parkour get together.
Oh,
at this,
dude,
at
I
this
seen
place.
that. Oh yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
All right.
That's fun.
Cool.
Yeah, you'd be a great person to go with.
Okay.
So my favorite part of the industry, when I'm on quality sets, or if I'm running them, I try to do this, is to have like top quality food.
Oh yeah.
Because food, I'm telling everyone out there listening, if you're running your own set,
or
you're part of like food, make it great and spend a little more on that, because
people that do catering, please.
Oh my God.
You don't understand. Like that goes such a long way.
Yeah, everyone on set, if they see something or they see like we want to see it taken care of and displayed nice. So when you come by it, you feel
organized.
Like yeah, especially in like non-unions. If we have that upper level food and it's nice, because often non-union you're getting paid like sometimes you are low paid. And when you're low paid, it feels you work just like you're paid really high. If you see something good on the table, you know, lunch, like please, no McDonald's, no fast food, no even pizzas. If you have like the best pizza and some salads, that could be good, but no like crappy pizza places. Don't chimp. What is it called? Chintz?
No,
skimp. Don't skimp on the food. Budget higher on the food, and don't take less for
cheap. Don't cheap out, cheapos.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you know, I mean, believe it or not, like even myself, like if there was like grade A service on catering, right? and I was getting paid like $100 a day,
Yeah, you would feel okay.
I would love life. You don't even know. Like I would love it. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying pay people $100.
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, I think
That can only
nowadays you
last so
still
long.
shouldn't be taking that. Like, I mean, a PA rate right now is at $168 per day. Like, to be fair, and I
Yeah.
think that's union or non-union.
That's non-union.
And then union
Yeah.
for commercials, or commercials are like $200
Yeah.
or something. And I think that's fair. Don't try not to take lower and ask for more. Say, hey, I have the dedication of someone that gets paid like this. Can you pay me? You got to ask for more, whether you're a freelancer or anything else.
Yeah, and most of the time, producers will look at it like they're like spending. You know, like the budget's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and it kind of sucks. But at the same time, you know, producers, believe me, make your crew happy
And make your day happy with a happy crew.
Your production will go a lot smoother, and believe me, it'll turn out a lot better.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
won't have piss heads.
I mean, people are professional in their craft, period. But you know, to make people happy, like, you know, don't try to save, you know, $10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
even an extra 50. Like sometimes
let that go.
extra 50 is so much more important. Like
yeah.
this next shoot. So okay,
$50 will go a long way.
like this last shoot, we had 3 or 2 PAs that our budget, we felt like, okay, let's do the 168. That's the standard for 2 PAs. But this next shoot, like I realized, okay, I can just round it up to 200.
Yeah.
And these are non-union, of course, and like I felt better instantly when I just put 200 for the PA.
Yeah.
Because like I was gonna use some people that I've worked with before, and I think it's just seeing it move up to 200. It's just nice, and then keep it that way. Budget that way.
Here's the thing, dude. This is where I see you and I like are a lot alike, in the sense of like we started kind of from we're kind of self-made, dude. We're self-made. We started from the bottom up. Did you go to school for it?
I mean, well, in high school, I had a little program for a year and a half that started me. So I do. That's how it jolted me in there.
Right.
But after that, I mean, I did music school, and then
You didn't go to college specifically for this, though.
No.
So, like, for a lot of the people that are kind of in this industry, and where they were like the producers that are in this industry that went to college specifically for this, right? And they're kind of making their way, right? This is kind of geared like that whole thing that we talked about. I don't want to I don't want to just like judge or like put people in these categories and stuff like that. But I feel like a lot of it, like the people that went to college, you know, specifically for this, I think that's geared towards them because a lot of the producers that I've come across have gone to college and they do exactly that. They try to save money, you know,
not think about the
they don't
collective mindset.
Yeah, because they haven't really worked from. I mean, they did like student projects and stuff like that, right? And I'm sure they've done 1 or 2 things, but then, you know, they go into like some guild, you know what I mean? After, because through college they've worked and they're like, oh, you know, we've been through that, you know. But guess what? The people that have like started self-made, started by themselves, they probably have done 3 times the work, you know.
Yeah,
to get to where they're at, you know. So just be aware of that, and you know, accommodate people in the best way that you can. Look out for the crew members.
Yeah,
you know.
So let's talk a little bit, and I have a couple last questions, but if you don't mind discussing or just throwing out some names, anything that inspired you about filmmaking that really got you engaged and passionate about, whether it's just filmmaking or just the idea of like entertainment for humans to keep us going. What any books or a documentary or something you think people would really love to come across? Could be websites, could be anything.
So I love documentaries. Man, and I would need I wouldn't even mind staying union and doing docu stuff if I could get on with somebody that does consistent docu stuff, right? I love documentaries, especially history type stuff. Like last night I was watching like something with Hitler and like all of like the war, and like I just can't believe like like they do like these reenactments and stuff within the docu, like
and you start analyzing it, how they shot it, how they recorded it.
Yeah, like that stuff is super cool. Like films, I love films, but there has to be like a good storyline to it, because if there's not, like if it's kind of jumpy or whatever and it doesn't really make sense, like it was off access a little bit, sorry.
He's talking about his mic.
But if it doesn't have a good storyline and if I can't connect to it, like it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just kind of like, it's just work, you know? But, let's see.
Every documentary, a good one has a story, so that's why you're probably drawn to it. It just has to have
Lords
a
of
real
Dogtown.
That's a good one.
Was a fantastic movie. And
loved that.
That was, there was another movie too. I don't know if this one's it's not really like that, but I mean, it has skateboarding, but it's like, there's like reality to it, and it's so real, and it like makes people like, I felt like, wow, like, maybe that's what my life could have been like or something.
Yeah,
right?
you get so inspired. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes that could be depressing.
There was this movie I remember really early on that I had watched, and it was like, I don't know, like it almost scared me in a sense, but it was like, oh shit, like I felt connected to it somehow. But have you seen that movie Kids?
Oh yeah, I watched that when I was 11.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so scary, and it's so
like
raw.
Yeah.
And it's so effed up.
Yeah,
But it
right.
makes you think, and like I always used to say, like I think young kids should watch that.
Oh yeah.
But I think they should somehow be supervised while they watch it.
Yeah.
To understand that
there are consequences, and
and
you cannot, like, I mean, you can choose to live your life that way. If you
but
want.
but it's not good for everyone.
But
and yourself.
Parent figures and stuff like that, you should really watch your kids and try to, put them in the right direction.
Give them
and
good
stuff like
options.
Yes. Yeah.
So they don't choose the bad ones if you don't present it. But we're not parents, so
yeah, I'm not.
We can just.
Well, you might be.
Hey,
pretty soon. No.
Oh.
So
I have a lot of kids, but they're usually in script form.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have like 4 of them that I'm trying to grow.
Mentally write them out. Yeah.
So
there's Kids was one of them.
I'll put that in the show notes. It's a very interesting.
Lords of Dogtown, and then there's a reality show that I kind of like.
The Kardashians, right?
No.
Oh,
dude.
my dear.
Oh, there's actually, okay, so there's two. There's two reality. There's like a reality docu-style type whatever. It's not a docu, but it kind of is. It's a reality docu. It's called Alaskan People. Or something.
That sounds nice.
Alaskan People. And then there's what is it? It's the one with Kevin Hart. Something husbands of Hollywood or whatever.
That's funny. So that kicks you off your rocker.
Yeah, that's like a comedy. He just makes me laugh.
Okay.
Dude.
No, I like it, Kevin Hart. Yeah, he's good.
It's like a funny, like his friends just completely like uproot his life, and he gets pissed off about shit. So I don't know.
Okay.
I think that was good.
Great.
But any actual type of history, I'm a history buff. I love anything on history. Period. Especially like beginning like 1900s all the way to like the 1970s. Anything that was documented.
It's cool to see. Because cinema didn't come out until 1895. Really, like that was the first change in it. So we can't see it before that. You can't see real stuff.
Was it like the first video or the first film that was ever made
And seen.
wasn't that like a horse kicking a soccer ball or something?
Okay, I could be wrong, but I remember from this really great documentary. They had a series on Netflix. I wish they brought it back. It had like 12 long episodes about every 10 decades. Every decade there was a series on it of filmmaking. It was amazing from the beginning, 1895 and up. And I think it was Thomas Edison or something. I could be wrong. That someone was in a rocking chair and getting filmed. But I don't know about horses kicking soccer balls. I know that's weird.
It wasn't the horse. It wasn't a soccer ball. It was like a big ball that it was kind of kicking. It was like running and like pushing it with his.
Cyrus Wymer.
hooves,
All right, folks,
right?
that was great. Thanks for having me. But I would like to find that, and I'll see if I can put it in the link. Like the very first thing that was captured.
Yeah, something that has a good storyline. I was a part of this remake. It was like a Peter Pan remake. It was called Wendy Darling or something, and it's like after she's all like grown up and she has her own kid and like all this stuff, right? And it was, I don't know, like it had a really good storyline and it was really fun to be a part of. There really wasn't that much dialogue. I think like to be around talented actors and being there boom-opping and like watching what they do and just me being in my in my space, my professional space, and being a part of that, it's so surreal and just bringing like a certain passion out of me and just like moving like a ninja, I guess,
being part of and being the whole.
Yeah. And really practicing my art, like the boom art form, you know? And that's why I geared even more towards boom. I would have to say like there's been a few other occasions where something like certain productions have been enjoyable, but for the most part, a lot of the other work that I've done has just been work.
Yeah, you learn some things of your own thing.
Yeah,
but it's just to get things happening
to get you by.
But sometimes that's how it is until you find the right productions crews that you have to work with.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I love when people love what they do. It makes me want to do more what I love.
Yeah.
Or if I happen to love the same thing.
I just wish I wish I could just be around talented people
all
that give you your space and allow you your freedom to do what you need to do. Yeah. I just wish all of the film industry was like that. But now I almost feel like now there really isn't even like there's not really too much art to it. It's kind of now it's more of like
I think it's more of like a real assembly line of popping out movies.
Yeah.
But I mean that's come on, like we have to think about it this way that you can a handful of movies that are bad doesn't mean they're all bad.
Right. You can still have an assembly line, right? And still stay true to your art form.
Yeah, true.
I know. There's a give and take.
It's always been about money, though.
Yeah.
I mean, bigger productions, like you have to make money or we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's why we love independent filmmaking because it's not about making the money. It's making a statement. Right. So eventually it could be about making money.
Right.
Just kidding.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately that's what you do. You make your indie films, you try to get involved, and then you move into a bigger machine and you try to stay true to your art in that bigger machine, and some do, some don't.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that once I get into that machine, I will.
Yeah.
Where can people find you if they want to reach out to you or check you out?
They can comment on your podcast. And then you can get a hold of me.
So you want me to be your manager?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Actually, or you just Facebook me, Cyrus Wymer, Cyrus Wymer.
And you're on Instagram?
I am.
But not a lot.
Right.
Okay, so the best place to
and
contact.
my Instagram doesn't even necessarily promote what I do.
Okay,
And
okay.
my Facebook really doesn't either. It was just kind of.
So if someone wanted to reach out with you and look into your sound stuff, perhaps hire you, where would they go?
IMDb me. You could Google me, I think.
I'll put you in the show notes.
Okay.
So I will IMDb you, and then I will put any other links I find.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good, man.
Any last words to people that are struggling after being on a good run in the industry, but now they're struggling? Like, what should they? Any advice?
I would just say, just stay positive, and look for, any means to getting work, like any other avenue within the profession that you've chosen in your life endeavor, and just keep at it. Because I mean, even though right now, I know right now is not a good time for me, but I know that there's work that's coming, and you just got to keep reaching out to people, and for every I don't know the statistic, but for however many bad people that you come across, not necessarily bad, but like fake people, whatever, like not real, whatever, there's always going to be that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that will consistently feed you work. And that's really what it's about, to make these relationships and try to hold these relationships, and build a good workforce that surrounds you. So and just make sure that the people that you work with are good people. They're not toxic. They don't run bad suggestions in your life and then kind of pollute everything around you. So you got to be happy with who you work with, but at the same time, always have a positive outlook and enjoy people, enjoy people and what they have to offer and their personalities and everything else.
Yeah, be interested in people out there, even if you feel depressed and negative. Just remember that there's so many people out there. They can all give you something, offer you something, and you can offer them something.
And not only, hobbies and stuff like that. That's a great way to connect with people. Try to find commonalities. And enjoy what they like doing. And if you've never done it, try it. Just get out there and be a part of society. That's all.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming out and hanging with me here. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, now let's go hop in this dirty jacuzzi to our left.
Chia. Chia pet. Do you remember those?
Chia.
Yeah, do you remember the chia pets and stuff? Yeah.
Well, everyone, thank you for listening, and you can find all the things, well, not all the things, some of the things we mentioned in the show notes. And thank you for tuning in. Check us out next time. And if you like the show, please comment and let me know what you like best, because I like to hear from you. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Unfake It Till You Make It podcast. For detailed sources and show notes for this episode, visit www.unfakeittillyoumakeit.com. Until next time, get up, get going, and get creative.